here I am with like an adult job, like earning money. And so I'm like, I'm going to buy the Razor Crest for myself. And then my kids are having a tough time understanding like why they also aren't getting like the Razor Crest and like anything that they want. And it's fun, they're so little, My 3-year-old said, Daddy, you need to stop buying big sets. You're gonna run out of money. And I was like, wow, like, yeah, that's probably actually good advice.
Hello, bricks, chicks, and minifigures. You are listening to AFOLs Welcome, where we talk about all things LEGO from the perspective of two adult collectors. We're your co-host. I'm Grinch.
And I'm West.
And today we are chatting about the brand new LEGO magazine geared towards AFOLs. But before we do that, West, let's banter over some bricks. I need to correct the record.
Oh, all right. If we have to make a mistake inevitably, I mean it should be on us to correct it. So Grinch, go ahead. Let's make sure we're.
Well, if I wasn't expecting all that. So okay, West. Last week I said you were awesome. No, I'm just kidding.
It's our solemn duty to tell the truth.
We're keeping the bit going. No, I guess a little bit of shame on me. I was last week during the Brick Mail section, we were talking about Brick World, and I said, "Hey, PSA, book your hotel for Brick World Chicago because the World Cup is coming up, and there's going to be games there that weekend." That is factually incorrect. There will be no World Cup games in Chicago. And I guess the lesson here is don't have as much faith in people as you should. No, I should have confused. Hey, look, the lesson is only you control what comes out of your mouth. So if you're going to say something, make sure it's correct.
Or confidently
but
wrong.
No, yeah, or just go with it and don't correct it and hope nobody calls you out. Nobody did call us out. We got a great listener and audience here. But no, I told last week I was at the Lego store. I was collecting, some bricks at the Pick a Brick wall. And I was talking to the store employee. He comes up to me and goes, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, my mock for Brick World. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's too bad about the World Cup, And I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, well, there's going to be multiple games there. Like I've gone to Brick World like every year for the past 5 years. And we're just not going this year. We're gonna go to Brick Rodeo instead. We just don't want to deal with the World Cup, and there's 3 games that weekend, and it's just gonna be a mess. I know it's like the stadium. I looked it up. It's 20 miles away or 20 minutes away, but we're just. And I was like, oh, you're right. The World Cup is there. Hotels.
What a great thing to share on my Lego podcast.
Yeah, I'm like, I wasn't gonna be like, oh, actually, my brother and I have a Lego podcast. You like. I tried not to be that person, but yeah, I was like, that's, I'm gonna probably bring this up during our Brick Banter section, and I should mention that at some point, and then I forgot, and then we got to Brick Mail, and I was like, wait a second, Brick World, don't book now, and West. There's no games in Chicago, my man. So don't book a hotel to Brick World. You don't even, just do it the day of. Just show up. You'll be fine.
Just show up. Yeah, you'll be good. You'll
You'll be good. Actually, the Renaissance does book out. Book in advance very quickly. So look, if somebody went and got a hotel because they heard it here, great. You're welcome.
You know what though,
you probably
Grinch?
needed to anyways.
While maybe the fact behind the message was incorrect, the message itself was still 100% valid, which is book it well in advance, because it actually surprisingly does book up from what I remember from the last time you tried to go, or you did go. And so yeah, book your room in advance.
What about you, West? Any records needing set straight?
Oh, nothing on my end that I can think of. From a.
Well, I got one for you. No, I'm just
because I'd like to fact check myself. No.
Because I think before I speak.
No, it's been a quiet week on my end, Grinch. I was expecting to get some F1 sets earlier in the week, and they were delayed because of the winter storm that kind of delayed everything this week. And, you know, we're going to get into the exciting LEGO news this week. There's some really exciting news on the back burner that I just cannot wait to talk about. But we don't peddle in rumors here, Grinch.
Somebody is getting excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to build a Osgiliath mock, for example. That would be really neat.
But I did want to share. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, share.
Well, I wanted to throw some congratulations your way because we actually had somebody on Instagram post a video of your mock that you made, and they added lights to it and smoke, and it was really cool to see. And I was like, oh, I know who made that. And then, they're decorating it all up, and it was a really well done video. So kudos to the person who created the video, and it was a pretty decent mock. So kudos to the mock builder.
It was kind of the worst part of the video was the mock. It's cool to see somebody really taking a like to my work and showing it off and having a good time with it. So
yeah,
I built the Mario standard cart and Mario.
Oh, okay.
As you can see in my background, I still have not unpacked the Lego collection since the move, but this weekend I'm taking a break on house stuff. I'm going to work on the Lego collection, start to get it unpacked, get a little bit more set up down here. I built a Lego set last weekend, the Mario Kart. Excellent set, by the way, does not disappoint. Really just a quality building experience. The sculpting on it is like nothing else. And the restraint from Lego in the sense that they had to use a few specialized pieces, like the nose and the mustache. Are obviously even the nose, like the way it's not, that's not to the system. The only system piece about it is that it sticks onto an anti-stud, but it's actually,
it's like an oval, but it's not
it's like a 2x3 kind of oblong oval, and it actually is off. So the 2 is off. So there's a plate height between the left side and the right side of it, or the top and the bottom of it. So if you got like a 2x3 plate, for example, one of the sides would be higher. Yeah, one of the sides would be higher because it fits over the mustache and then onto the face. So the part that accepts the mustache. And so it's a highly specialized piece, but West, get your mind out of the Lego the brick pit. But a lot of restraint from Lego in the fact that they kind of had to. I mean, how many times have you seen there's like a beautifully sculpted Lego set and then they just didn't do something specialized for like the eyes? Like you see it all the time with some of the buildable figures that they do. And they could have just tried to fit a square peg into a round hole, so to speak, and they just didn't do it here. And I think it's probably Nintendo that's like, no, this has to be perfect. This has to be brand standard. Yeah. And I think it really is it's an example of them showing restraint in using a specialized piece, but like not always having to use a specialized piece or only using it in this 1/2 instance. And that's kind of it.
Well, we've talked about that in the past of how Lego it feels like they've started to kind of learn their lesson. Specifically, we talked about it in the Smart Brick episode of how Lego's shown restraint with things like color. They've shown restraint with things like the new pieces that they add to the palette. And even in some cases, they do have themes like Ninjago, where they do kind of, depending on the sort of sub theme or sub wave that they're doing, they get a lot of specialized pieces, but there's still generally, I think, a lot of restraint that Lego has learned over the years, I think, through trial and error. And I guess it's on full display here. So, but that's really cool.
Well, you know what else is really cool?
Some exciting Lego news.
Exciting LEGO news.
All right, West, why don't you take us through this week's news headlines?
Alrighty. So first up, we have a real Michael Schumacher Ferrari. That's my Cars quote there. Smart Play, Lego Smart Play Wave 2 has been images have been released of the new Star Wars Smart Play sets coming up. The Lego Editions Football or Soccer, if you're from the States, set has been revealed formally. Sauron's helmet was revealed earlier this week, and one that I think is going to bring a lot of controversy. Lego and Crocs have formally revealed their collaboration. And last but not least, we had some new images of
Lego Crocs.
the buildable Winnie the Pooh, and I think there's a Piglet set as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Grinch?
That is correct.
Because we've all been clamoring for a buildable $200 Winnie the Pooh.
For some buildable poo. All right. We got to talk about the Sauron helmet.
Yep.
Obviously, this leaked a while ago, like a month ago, I want to say. I am sad because I have Barad-dûr, but on the other side of the coin, like I'm happy because I wanted to do a Lord of the Rings mock of that opening battle with Isildur, the narration, right, of the first movie. And I did not want to spend like $120 on a Sauron minifigure just to do that. So I probably eventually
You weren't
would
gonna
have.
use your own that you already have?
No, dude.
You wanted
no.
a second one.
Well, yeah. What is like what? Look, you take them to a convention, you put them on your build, you're driving there, it falls off, you put it in a bag with other pieces.
Fair.
Heck, somebody could swipe it, I mean, look, the Lego community is great, but there could be a bad apple or two, right? I mean, or I would be thinking about it.
All those
and it would
sticky-fingered
not
kids
happen.
showing up to the
Yeah, I mean,
convention.
no, but like
Gross.
seriously, and then too, like you're keeping it like in studs and moving around and posing it. So like, I got the one for the collection, and I got the other ones.
Fair enough.
I got those.
Fair
bonus,
enough. So it is. It's a lot more accessible. It's what, $80?
Yeah. So instead of $120, the minifigure will be $40 now.
Well, I mean, you're really buying the set for the minifigure, so like $80 still. Like,
yeah, but the problem is I'm gonna buy the helmet and I'm gonna be a total super dweeb and be like, well, that minifigure belongs to the helmet.
So then you're gonna have to buy a second helmet.
No. I'm just gonna buy it, but
okay.
It will be more accessible now to do so. So,
yeah. Well, it is a really great model. I love how it is like the cheapest set in the Lord of the Rings line right now, which makes it.
Oh, dude, there's BRICKA.
Sure. No, I mean, it's wonderful, and potentially we might have more to talk about the subject later on this year. So
later on this year, maybe next week.
That's yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if I can wait.
Well, Grinch, I did want to talk real quick about the Michael Schumacher Ferrari. This is the third F1 car done in kind of the Lego Creator Expert scale that we had. We had the Ayrton Senna car, then we just had the Williams car as well, and now we have the Michael Schumacher Ferrari. This one has some really cool prints for the tires, brand new. I believe they're Bridgestone tires, if I'm not mistaken, but the brand isn't important. What's important is just we're getting a new tire piece.
Tell that to Bridgestone.
It's kind of the more modern generation of F1 car. So specifically, this is the F1 from I believe the 90s and 2000s kind of era F1. So more modern than the last two we've gotten. But I'm really enjoying this kind of sub $100 theme the scale is still extremely detailed, which is great. But you're not spending $250 for a car. So that's literally going to sit on your shelf, right? Like it is a display. It's kind of like the buildable ships for Star Wars, right? Like it's a display model. You're buying it because it's a display model, but the scale that it's at, there's still a lot to enjoy from it. So I'm excited to see that. The Smart Play 2 sets came out, so we're getting a Millennium Falcon. There's a buildable Yoda's hut and a ATST, all designed with the Smart Play feature in mind. I'm not following. It looks like there's a green hammer, like Thor's hammer, that's kind of connecting some of the sets. I'm really not sure why. I don't know what it is about this. Like, is there some like Smart Play lore that I'm missing as an adult? I'm not entirely sure. But
we actually can't see it.
Oh, okay.
It's just not. Yeah, only kids can see it.
Maybe that's it. It's like the bell from Polar Express.
I think it's probably to trigger the brick, right? Because it doesn't have to use colors. So my guess is
so maybe they're using the light sensor.
My guess is like you needed something not naturally in the set, so they've placed it in occasions where they needed to read
interesting.
that thing. Maybe I don't know. I didn't see a video
maybe
for
we'd
these
have,
ones.
Like, more technical understanding of how this thing actually operated. We did get the formal, images of the Lego Editions football, so that was kind of cool. I think we're still expecting a few more sets from kind of this FIFA Lego crossover. So, although I don't know how many with the World Cup this year, so we'll potentially see a few more here on the horizon. It'd be really interesting to see if we got like a return to Lego soccer, like in its truest.
Dude, we should buy some of these at Brickworld Chicago and then go build them at the game in Chicago.
Yeah, there you go. What's really cool with this is it has micro figures in it. But what's kind of funny is that they actually have the Lego painted head. So I think they're painted, not dual molded, but painted micro figures where it's like the blue, in this case, it's like a blue body. I think the goalie is a red torso, and then they have like the yellow head on them. So that's kind of interesting to see. I don't, obviously we've had printed micro figures in the past, but we haven't really seen one kind of quite like this before. And then Grinch, the Crocs.
And then the Crocs.
Yes.
Who asked for these?
My thoughts exactly. I
actually, do you think Lego approached Crocs, or do you think Crocs approached Lego?
Who knows? With Lego's weird collab with, I wouldn't say weird, that sounds disparaging. With Lego's recent collaboration with shoe companies, it could kind of go either way. I will say I did buy intentionally, sort of non-ironically, a pair of Crocs the other day. Very happy with that purchase.
For a bit for this?
No. They weren't the Lego Crocs.
Are you going to return the Crocs you bought the other day so you can get the Lego ones?
No. These shoes are odd. I mean, they're what, like 2x3 bricks basically that you like. That's the 2x3 brick, and then there's like
it's a 2x4 brick, but it's a 2x2 brick, and then the opening is for the foot.
Yeah,
essentially.
But it's just, they're big, they're clunky. In the future conversation we're about to have, we're interviewing a design, somebody who has a wonderful eye for design. And Lego has had some really great collaborations with sort of functional brands recently. Was the suitcases that they created that you can go get at Costco. And those just kind of naturally fit the Lego brick, I think, a little bit better than something like the Croc. If we want to talk about clothing, they had that whole line with Levi's for a little bit where they had like the buildable patches that you could actually put pieces on. And I thought that was kind of a novel approach. I mean, I didn't buy any of it, but an interesting approach to sort of Lego building. This doesn't feel like that at all. This just feels like somebody's like, what if we just plussed up the size of the brick and then turned it into a shoe? which like, I don't know, man. It's an interesting choice, is I guess what I'll say.
They look like those oversized slippers that just never seem comfortable. Like, I think they're supposed to be oversized, therefore they're comfortable, but they're just big and crocky, I guess.
But they're not even like Crocs, right? Because like that's kind of the thing with Crocs is they're light, they're comfortable, they're easy to wear. Like these aren't any of those things.
My absolute favorite thing is there's a poly bag with just a minifigure that's just in a red torso and blue pants, and then he's got the Crocs on, and it's not like a specialized piece or printed, Croc on the side or something like that. It's just a 1x2 plate with a 1x1 plate on top of it, and it's just like, here you go. And these are $150. How much were your Crocs about the other day? Like $40, right?
These were special ones. They're kind of neat, actually. They have a leather top, almost like an LL Bean duck boot, but they're like a regular like Croc bottom. So they're kind of like specialized ones. But I think they were still like $100 only.
If you had any cool card left, you need to turn it back in after this episode.
Dude, no, they're cool Crocs. I don't know what to say, man. They're cool.
Well, you enjoy those.
Anyways, Grinch, any other thoughts on the exciting news from this week?
I'm excited to see a sub $500 Lord of the Rings set. So.
That isn't a overly priced book, no?
Yes.
No.
I'm just excited to see more Lord of the Rings.
I am too. That's, you know what, like at the end of the day, it's a win. So.
Well, West, why don't we flip the page and get to our topic for today.
Today's topic.
From the web page to the glossy pages of brand new magazines, BRICKA is an independent, design-forward magazine exploring the culture, creativity, and business of brick building. Here to talk about BRICKA is the founder and editor, Sam Aquillano. Sam, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So we have a little bit of a tradition here. Before we talk about BRICKA, the thing, we've got to talk about Sam. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. How did you become an AFOL? And we'll go from there.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, so I'm Sam. I'm a dad, so that's helpful for the Lego. I'm a father of 4, but I've always been into Lego as a kid, for sure. Was always building like castles, doing a lot of the was it M-Tron, the magnets. That was a big part of my childhood. And yeah, even built, I would say even to college, like through college, definitely started to taper, but I would say Lego helped me realize what I wanted to do with my life, which was I wanted to be a designer. So I was like building things, drawing things, and Lego was definitely like part of my creativity. Definitely had like the dark ages there. I got a job. I started my career as an industrial designer at Bose. And then, I was having kids, as many people probably share. I took parental leave for all 4, each of the 4 kids. And I just felt like I started getting into it. My mocks like started getting better for each child. And I was just like fully back into it, like doing sets, doing my own stuff, like doing it as a way to relax and get away from the computer screen. And I think also like a big moment for me was like starting to use Studio. I do a lot of CAD work in my day job. And so Studio was just like, I remember when I found Studio, I was like, this is both probably like one of the best days of my life and one of the worst because I am like fully addicted to Studio. But I even find that to be very relaxing and just sort of like, hey, if I need to like clear my head, just go to Studio and just mess around. So, just, also following all the amazing artists and mock builders on Instagram and Flickr and YouTube has always been something in my life. And I just love the brick, love what you can do with it. And it's, as a dad, just seeing my kids like and how they play is like so affirming. Like when I was a kid and now, I mean, I build sets and I display them. I mean, maybe as a kid, I used to play with them more. My kids, they will build the set and they're very happy when it's built. And the set will last probably like 24 hours. And then they atomize the entire thing. And then they build whatever they want. And my kids are, well, I have a 1-year-old, but so my 3, 6, and 8-year-old all play this way. And like they look at sets in terms of like what they're going to get, like what pieces.
The pieces.
Yeah. And then they have like a vision. It's amazing to watch. So yeah, it's definitely like we're a Lego family. And, it's definitely like the Lego room downstairs. And then this is like my sanctuary, my dad's office where you're not supposed to touch. But I did find, so I just built the F1.
Nice.
Movie car.
And that's the movie one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw there was like a couple pieces missing. And I was like, someone has been tampering.
I was going to ask, how do you balance respectfully being a dad and a collector / displayer, like you said?
Yeah, the physical space helps. I have a locking door, but I also like I try to be. I mean, right before this episode, before like we did bath time and whatnot, we were downstairs. My kids will make requests. So my kid, my 6-year-old, wanted a pickup truck, and so like for the last couple of weeks, we've been jamming on this pickup truck, and I think they see that as like our time together, like playing. They know not to touch like dad's like precious sets. And then they, like I said, when they're on their own, it's just amazing to see. Like even my 3-year-old, he's really into like fire trucks and fire planes, and he builds like a whole fire. I don't know where all the fire is. Like in his mind, fires are constantly happening and needing to be fought. But he has like an entire like fleet.
Well, I'm certainly as a newer father myself, I'm glad to hear that the love for Legos there and with the kids, and you can still be a AFOL obsessed individual at the same time as a family of Lego as well. So
yeah, it does get interesting though, because like here I am with like an adult job, like earning money, and so I'm like I'm gonna buy the Razor Crest for myself. And then my kids are having a tough time understanding like why they also aren't getting like the Razor Crest and like anything that they want. And it's fun. They're so little, my 3-year-old said, "Daddy, you need to stop buying big sets. You're going to run out of money." And I was like, wow, like, yeah, that's probably actually good advice.
You're not wrong. And Lego keeps coming out with the big ones too. So, they just keep making it easier and easier.
They do.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're going to get 5 of the next UC, probably Death Stars,
definitely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you said you had 4 kids, and then there's you. So like that's 5. Right. That's 5 UCS sets. Yeah.
What's also difficult for them is like I did the like I said, the F1, and I did the Bugatti, and my 1-year-old's a boy, but so my 2 middle are boys, and I was like, hey, you guys can build them, but once they are built, they enter, the collection. And that was a really tough sort of like, you could just see the wheels. They're like, I'm building it, therefore it belongs to me. And so I don't know if that was the right move, but I'm trying things, just trying it all.
Just see that's all you can do, right?
See what works. Yeah.
Also, is there like some child labor laws that we need to explore there?
Yeah, exactly. Well, my 6-year-old, man, he's so fast too. Like, I don't know. I like to sit, I like to get the vibe. I'm like setting it up. I'm taking my time. And he's just like burns through. Like we did the insect collection. I won't even bother picking them up because I feel like I'll break them. But like he did like the rhino beetle. And I was like, it's like, when they eat too. I'm like, did you even breathe when you when you were eating? Did you savor that set? No, because again, their whole thing is like, again, I respect it and I love it. Like they have a vision. And like my son built like this battle truck. I mean, it's so good. I'm like, for a 6-year-old, like, dang, man, like he had the vision in his mind. So yeah, who knows? Like, it's a joy to watch. And yeah, every day I'm like so glad like this toy and this system exists because we have a lot of fun with it.
do you find that as a family you have kind of a shared favorite theme, and then you have your own, like, hey, the new Lord of the Rings sets out and everyone's, they all kind of take a step back, like Dad's got to go get the new Lord of the Rings set, and but when the new Star Wars set comes out, they all know, like, okay, cool, like we're gonna have fun this weekend.
Yeah. I think they will go with whatever I'm into, which is fun. They're at that age. They haven't kind of formed, although they love city, of course, like trucks, and that's most of the requests. Like when they want me to build something, it's either a fire truck or a spaceship. They definitely, I mean, they get excited because I get excited about Star Wars. So I built a lot of Star Wars stuff, like just did the Razor Crest recently. A K2SO back there.
Oh, nice.
I have the, I never say it right. Venator, what the
Venator,
big
yep.
Venator? Yeah, I haven't built it yet. It's around. I started actually. So they love, like, I think they love like the scale, and that's like a long like project that they were like working towards. But yeah, I'm really into like any kind of like robots or like more standalone stuff. Like I don't really get into like play sets or I was super into Castle as a kid, like I said, but I don't know, now I'm like I did the big Mario Kart. He's over there too. Did the Game Boy. Yeah, I love that set. I saw Luigi's coming out. I'm like, I think it's more like the standalone stuff that like, I think if I really boil it down, it's probably a mix between like Star Wars as like a big theme, and then anything where like you're using the bricks to like bring things to life, whether it's Mario or like a butterfly. Like I'm so fascinated by the ability to take this like plastic, pretty geometric thing, and then like there's a praying mantis, on my desk. I'm like amazed at the Mario Kart set, like Mario himself, like the cart, very cool,
It
but
was
like
phenomenal.
Mario, I'm like, just give me that. I think I even posted on Instagram. I'm like, now I want to make like Link, Mega Man. I'm like, I want every childhood video game character in that like scale and style.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, the Pokemon stuff is kind of getting there, but just something about like the humanoid like cartoon character. And then I love buttons too. Like a lot in some like my mocks, like I'll use like pen springs and stuff to like make buttons, and I'm a product designer, so I designed consumer electronics for most of my career, and now I'm more in like business strategy. But like I love just like it's like a different means of production. You could go and 3D print this, or you could do it in bricks. And I mean, this was an awesome build. The BB-8, smaller than I think than the original, but it was just like so tight and with such a cool like play feature with the little head moving. So anything that like comes to life as like a little thing. I don't need bases. I don't need things to be on bases. I don't need things to be like displayed. Like I have shelves. That's my display.
So I'm really curious what your favorite set is.
Oh my gosh, I knew you were gonna ask that. Favorite set has got to be the Hulkbuster, right there.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I'm a big Iron Man fan, and that set was just like, it's so big. I mean, you can't tell from this. It's so tiny back there. But it's just so like massive. And I built it with my kids, and like I don't think they'd ever seen a set that big, like up until that point in their life. Like they didn't realize you could go that big. And then the fact that like the other Iron Man like fits in like that. I mean, come on, that's so cool. So I'll say that was like definitely the favorite. And then I have to like keep the Razor Crest was fun. Like I love the big ships. This isn't Lego. This is Modern Brick House. This like sunflower wall art. Like that was also just like very different in that they give you instructions for the frame, but then it was like just do whatever you want like in the middle. And I was like, oh wait, I get to decide.
So much freedom.
I know. What is this freedom that I have? So that was really neat. But yeah, I'll go with Hulkbuster as favorite set ever.
Nice. What do you think of the new Iron Man they came out with this year? I know Grinch and I were big fans of it.
Loved it so much. I think it is like the perfect design. I almost said that as my favorite set, but I haven't had it for as long, I guess. But they just nailed like every detail. That was one where I was like, as I was building it, I was like, just saying, wow. I mean, my wife thinks I'm hilarious. I'm like snapping bricks together. I'm just like, wow. She's like, okay, we get it. Like, You like the set, but yeah, they nailed that one. I mean, that's basically looked like an action figure. It doesn't even look like a Lego set
Yeah.
at this point, which is fine by me. I mean, it's really fun to build.
So where can people find you and your work?
Yeah, so BRICKA is a new magazine. It's at briccamag.com. And so that's where you can see the current first issue. In fact, I like to tell people, so I've set it up so, because this is a new kind of Lego magazine, right? It's a new magazine for AFOLs, definitely more on like the art and culture side of it, and definitely more like human stories about the artists. And so I made it so anyone can go on, and if you hit subscribe, there's an area you can just click like a free issue 1 digital preview, and you can read the entire first issue for free online and just kind of be like, is this for me? Is this something like I am interested in? And then if you are, subscribe for the print magazine. But yeah, that's been really cool to introduce to people. And then yeah, the first issue is out. So people have been subscribing. The response has been beyond what I ever could imagine. I mean, hundreds of subscribers. I'm like, can I handle the fulfillment of hundreds of subscribers? So far,
That's
so
a good
good.
problem to have.
Yeah, it is a great problem to have of like, can I actually I actually bought one of these really cool like label printers. I never thought I would need that. And I've got like my kids, talk about the labor laws again. I've got my kids on like assembly line. They're actually really good at like stuffing envelopes, sealing it, sticking I mean, stickers. They love playing with stickers.
Grinch and I
anyway,
had
so
many hours stuffing
Oh my God.
envelopes as kids. So
you love it.
I stuffed envelopes until I earned the second version of the Millennium Falcon from episode 5.
That's
and
it.
I still have that set back in 2005, and that was a special set. So I earned it.
You really earned it.
I mean, we're kind of joking, but seriously, at the same time, like as a kid, you know what it means to earn something, right? Like when you help out dad, with that magazine, like it becomes yours, right?
I mean, first of all, it's like if I could step outside my body, like, and just like pat myself, like, how cool is it to have a dad who runs like a Lego magazine, right? I wouldn't know. Yeah, they can't believe it, like when they see it. So I gave each of them a copy, and they were like, it was like the most precious thing. I mean, you could give, if you have kid, like you can give your kid just a printout of you, and they're like, oh my God, a picture of my dad. But like they saw this and they were like, what is going on? So yeah, they get super, they think they're part of the business. They see themselves as like part of the whole thing. They like want to know like what's going to be in the next issue. So yeah, they love to be involved. But yeah, find us online. We're also on Instagram at BRICKAMag. So I've been posting like lots of behind the scenes stuff for certainly for this issue, and then for issue 2, which drops in early March. It's been a wild adventure. I mean, I just started the magazine in August of last year. That's like the start date. And so it's been like quick ramp up. I started by basically chatting with people. I put a couple feelers out on like LinkedIn and Instagram to be like, hey, any adult fans of Lego? I'm thinking about this project. I'd just love to like talk to you. And that's kind of like the designer mindset of like, hey, is there a there? I kind of gave them the idea. I had like a vision, like a one sheet of like what I was planning. A lot of people were like, this sounds so cool. I'd be so into it. I actually was going to do just one as like a prototype. I was like, all right, I'm going to call it issue 0. It's going to be this, it's going to be I'm only committing to making this one prototype. I'd print it forever, thought it was cool. But as I kept talking to people in those conversations, they were like, this doesn't exist, and it really should. And then you start asking, I was like, would you pay? Would you subscribe? Like, would you pay? And enough people were like, oh, definitely. It's less than a set. It gets me inspired. Like, it takes me to like a different part of the hobby. And so, yeah, then I kind of like pivoted and I was like, all right, I'm all in. So I kind of was like, all right, this is going to be issue 1. I opened up sort of like a founding subscriber campaign so people could subscribe between September and basically the end of last year, and they'd be a founding subscriber, and then, their names are in the issue.
That's cool.
It was really fun. People are like, it's like starting something, like you need a community behind you.
Right.
Yeah. And then we kept that going, and now, yeah, it's all going ahead. We're even starting to work on issue 3. So yeah, it's really fun.
You said too it was focused on more so the art and the culture of Lego. Unpack that a little bit for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are already great magazines and content online around like set reviews and like learning what Lego's doing, and other brands too, like Mattel. Like there's enough on. I mean, I love it all. I follow it like crazy. Like I saw the leak of Minas Tirith. I'm like, I want it. But I was like, there's enough like media out there, like covering Lego and covering sets, and like I love New Elementary, like parts and even like mocks and stuff. So cool. I kind of categorize that, and this isn't like a negative, but I kind of characterize a lot of this like fast media, which is we live in a world of fast media. Except for you guys. This is slow media right here. And I'm really like slow media in terms of like long form essays, like great photography, great long form conversations. And I wasn't seeing that in the Lego community. I know great events like conventions, but I really love, I mean, part of this is my background as a designer. I also ran a design magazine in the past where it was like telling the stories of designers and how they like started in design and what they do now. I was like, I wonder if I could take that same lens and apply it to Lego. And yes, I mean, the story is like there's this gentleman, Raymond Gerard, in the magazine. So he does these really like, I call them whimsical. They're like a mix of whimsical, but they're also very geometric. Like here's one of his like cities that he builds. And, this is very cool. I've seen him, his posts online on Instagram. This is like rapping through a gallery.
Wow.
But to talk to him about his life and how, as a kid, he lived in Winnipeg, very flat, no like giant, big skyscrapers, but he saw New York City on TV, right, through like shows, and he's like, what are these skyscrapers, these building things? And to hear him tell it, he would just start stacking things as a kid, like plates and books and making these cities. And it became very apparent to his parents that like this kid needs something to like build with. So they got him Lego, and that was it. He started like stacking and making these cities, and he wanted to become an architect, became an interior designer, started thinking about fashion. I mean, I love how like their backgrounds and their stories from literally childhood to now like form their art in the bricks. And so there's just so many amazing stories to tell.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's like, you get to think about your own, if you're a mock builder or a Lego artist, you're like, oh, this is inspiring. Like, what's my like special thing that I'm going to bring to the hobby?
I think one of the nice things that the magazine does is exactly what you described. It slows things down, right? It's you have to be deliberate when you're listening to it. Even something like a podcast, I can drive and do that on my way home, to work, right? Or a video I can play while I'm cooking food or something. But like with a magazine, you got to sit down and take your time. And when the stories are done right and they really kind of tell the story of somebody's journey, it can be really powerful. And like you said, I mean, you certainly have an eye for identifying these creators who have these really interesting stories, but also have really, cool things to say about Lego itself. And like you mentioned, it's this intersection of art and engineering and design and all of these different facets of what makes Lego so exciting. I got a chance to go see that traveling Art of Lego exhibit, and to see Lego sort of put on a similar pedestal as art, classical art. It's just wild, right? You're like, this is something I used to play with as a kid and still build with as an adult, but like, to see it on a display in a museum, it's just something else entirely.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, so in the feature, the cover story in issue 2 is Echo Namako. I don't know if you're familiar with Echo, but he does like the sculptural, large scale in all black Lego. And I mean, to see his work, I mean, it is beyond. He has it was like a Pegasus. I mean, full human scale, but all in Lego. He does these like West African inspired masks that are like, I feel like they're peering into my very soul. Yeah, just his figure. He's very much into bringing things to life through, like he's done these amazing like babies that are like baby size, but they have like these butterfly wings. It is absolutely incredible. Like when I saw his work, I was like, I mean, he's exhibiting around
Yeah,
the world, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, has anyone actually like told his story around like when he was a kid, he was building Transformers. You know, he grew up in the 80s like me, maybe like us. I can't tell how old you guys are. But he was like, I'm watching Thundercats, I'm watching Transformers, I'm building. And then it was in art school that he got this assignment to build a drawing machine. And he's like, how the hell am I going to build a drawing machine? And his mind went straight to Lego, and he built this drawing machine. It was kind of like a car that drove, and it was like on this armature, and you could start to see. And then, long story short, he ended up buying like a pretty big haul of Lego from a family on like Craigslist, and a lot of it was red. He didn't start with black; he started with red. He had all this red, and he built this like devil baby. I think the actual title of the piece is Junior, but it looks like Hellboy as like a baby, all red. But it got him thinking about building monochromatically. And then like he wanted to explore more, and he realized I want to use the full gamut of Lego elements, and black is everything comes in black. Also, he's a black artist, so you've got these themes of like the culture, you've got the themes that he's trying to put forward, you got the black of the Lego. You can't hide behind color and like color breaks. It's pure form when it's monochromatic. So I don't know, just to see his trajectory and how he sort of like built his body of work is incredible.
And it's those stories, right? That
Yeah.
you especially with the builder like him, where it's like you see it and and it's already one of those things that you look at and you're like, this is art, right? But then you get the
Totally.
added parts of the story and you're like, this is art.
He told me this story. I start the piece with it. It's a Muslim king. I'm gonna get the century wrong. I'll pull up my 14th century. He told me the story of a Muslim African king who many believe actually like created a fleet of ships that sailed to America 150 years before Columbus. Now, this is a commentary on like what becomes history and what we're allowed to like remember.
Yeah.
He doesn't use it as like, oh, like he like uses it as like the spine of his entire like art exhibit around
Right.
like what would these ships look like if they were like in the future. Like it's all about like imagining it in this like positive like Afrofuturism. It's incredible. This guy, I could look at his work for hours. He built it. I think it's over. Was it 7 feet long? Maybe even be longer. Built like the Nile River, all out of black Lego. And I'm talking the stuff that gets like he needed to do trees, but we're talking like micro scale. It's like you're looking at the Nile from like bird's eye view. And he was able to use the minifig hair, like African braids from the like Wakanda, the Black Panther sets. So you got like Lego creating like black minifigs and like this whole theme, and that's what Black Panther is for Marvel, right? This like Afrofuturism. And then you got Echo like using it to like create the Nile in Africa. I mean, it's like so stuff that you'd be like, oh, that looks cool. But again, back to the slow media, you can really dive into like his thought process and like what it means to him and his background. And you can tell I love the stories. And I really think we're also just even 2 issues in, it's like the tip of the iceberg. There is just so much talent out there doing this stuff that, again, maybe they're on Instagram, but I'm not sure the stories are fully like known and told.
So are you traveling to go interview these people, or are you still kind of?
I would like to get to that point. I'm full digital. Definitely in the point too, where I'm like starting to, even 2 issues in, like there's a handful of folks in the like Toronto area who have been in issue 1 and issue 2, handful of folks that are from Portland, Oregon. And I'm like, oh, I want to go like visit these people and like see the work firsthand. What I do is hire a local photographer, wherever the folks are. So that's like the in person. Yeah, we do all original, high quality photography.
Wow.
That was like essential. Definitely adds to the challenge. I mean, a lot of these folks, like Echo has amazing photos, and we do use some of his photos, but to get like new photos that you would only see in BRICKA is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it adds to the authenticity of the magazine and the situation, right? I mean, if you were just throwing up pictures from, you know, the content creators' Instagrams,
Yeah.
like it doesn't, in your About Me page or About BRICKA page, you compare BRICKA to Dwell meets The Atlantic. And I think that's, you know, certainly very intentional in terms of the style, direction, but also the quality of work that you are trying to portray in BRICKA. And
Absolutely.
I think having those photos and seeing them for real is you know, the only way to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I like, you know, we're in a world of AI generated slop. I interview I hopefully I will be hiring writers in the future, in the near future. But I wrote all of issue 1 and all of issue 2. I interviewed every artist, wrote every word, hired amazing photographers. I mean, they're so talented to like capture these stories. And I love, like, of course, hearing from, like, I'm getting great like emails and texts from people who read the magazine. They're like, oh my gosh, that feels really good. Don't get me wrong. Really though, is when I get like, there's a woman, Jacqueline Sanchez. She's a Lego jewelry designer. So she does like Lego and diamonds. And I've got this reaction a few times, but hers is just the most recent. She's just like, wow, like I've never heard my story like told like this. Like, you really captured me. She was like, I was tearing up. Like, those are the moments I'm like, okay, because I want to do right by the artists and like make sure like that's like you said, like it's authentically them, it's captured right. And so that's been like very, very rewarding for them to be like, oh my gosh, you really told my story. I'm like, whew.
Well, I want to go back to something you said real quick too, because we're kind of going back there, and you mentioned, you know, the photos are online, right? But they don't really convey or tell that entire story, and it's almost like we've reached a point as a society where the old saying of "a picture's worth 1,000 words" isn't really true anymore with you know, short form content with Instagram.
I think it's
and, you know,
actually only worth 180 characters, Grinch.
That's right.
right. And so it's almost like the vehicle of a magazine allows you to really capture 1,000 words with the picture and 1,000 more, right? It's now a picture's now worth 1,000 plus one. So
It's totally true. I mean, take the sunflowers. So it's Modern Brick House. This guy Oliver Parr. Like, I'd seen his ads. I'd seen Modern Brick. Like, I bought it and I was building it, and I was like, it's so visual, so cool. And I'm like, I need to know the story behind this thing. Like, it's got to be super interesting. Like, this is a not, you know, a third party new brick brand. So his story in the issue 1 is very much like sort of like a startup story. Like, how do you start a new brick brand? And I love that. Like, it's getting deeper into. I've scrolled past and liked a million photos of like every variation of this thing, but to get that, like you're saying, get that level deeper has been really cool. And again, like people love hearing about the ins and outs of like he got a bunch of like parts from the manufacturer. They were all bagged incorrectly, so he had to like ask his like sister, mom, family to like, they opened up thousands upon thousands of bags, then like thousands upon thousands of parts, and like rebag them, because for him it was all about the experience, right? Like, you know, open this thing, and I did, you know, great packaging, opened it up, you know, got the instructions, and like it was a good experience. And now even knowing that like Oliver and like his sister were like rebagging these tiny little floral pieces, that just adds to it. You know, it's like, I had this friend who, this was more on like the design side, but he likened it like design and music. Like music, like we love good music, but when you go and like see it in person, when you hear like interviews of the artists, and like you just get more like the behind the scenes, like, what was it, like behind the music, like you just get this bigger appreciation for the art that they're putting into the world because you know the person, you know what they've been through. Like how many movies have I watched lately of like a bio, there's Elton John biopic, Elvis biopic. Like when you understand what they've been through and their stories, like you appreciate it. So again, trying to bring that to this type of art has just been a joy, and yeah, I'm excited to like keep going and see like what other stories I uncover.
So how do you curate or plan, right? You're on your third, or you're working, sorry, I should
Yep,
say, on the
working on
third
the third.
issue. How are you kind of curating these issues as you go?
Yeah, I purposefully, I think everyone kind of that I had originally talked to was like, oh, you could do themes. You'll do the castle theme, then you'll do the mosaic theme. I'm not really into themes. I'm more into like the theme is everything we were just talking about, right? Like the theme is Lego and bricks as art. And so to me, it's more of like curating back to the music, like an album, right? Like a mix of, in this case, articles, songs that are going to pique different kinds of interest. And so like issue 1 was like, oh, can I get like someone who's more on like the architecture side, something more like wall art. Um, I was really into like, as I started, like we're talking stories, like Kelly Bartlett, who's, what was she? Was it season 1 of Lego Masters? Or no, season 2? I can't remember. I should know because I wrote the article. Yeah. Anyway, she like tells these amazing like visual narratives through her art. And so he's talking about like, what does storytelling mean to her? You get this like, and I'm trying to get like the wild card. I mean, I don't think it's wild, but so in issue 1, I have Light Brick Studio who did Lego Voyagers, the video game. And that one's like, I was not like, I love video games. I'm a gamer and I've played a lot of Lego video games, but I don't think I was like itching to put a Lego video game in until I played this game. And I was like, this is unlike any other Lego game I've ever played. And I could just tell that whoever designed it, like loved Lego and like loved the bricks and was really thinking about it. I mean, when I put in the article, when we were playing, my daughter and I, it's kind of a 2-player co-op. We were spontaneously giggling from just like the joy of what it was like to click bricks together and help each other. You have to it's kind of like a takes two kind of game where you have to like help each other. Anyway, so like that was like my wild card, but it turned out to be this amazing story of like this guy who was into video games for a long time, made his own games out of like cardboard and dice when he was a kid, and then got his like ultimate job he actually worked for Lego doing video games. They want to take it in a different direction. Lego funded their studio to like spin out. So Lego is still an investor, but they've been able to like just be more free and creative. And the output then is incredible. Like if you guys haven't played it, please try it. Unless like many people's like, I don't want to get addicted to this video game.
It's couch co-op. It looks like my wife and I are always looking for a good couch co-op game.
I'm telling you, for a husband and wife, it is so fun.
We played It
like,
Takes Two, so I'm already there.
Gosh.
Yep,
it'll be
I'm already sold.
perfect for you.
And it's Lego, so
yeah, exactly. And the craft of it, if you read the article, like they placed millions of bricks to build this world that they literally came from. It was like, you've all played. I mean, I loved Lego Horizon Adventure, like where you're Aloy and you're basically controlling a minifig, but it could be any character. You could just be Horizon Zero Dawn. They kind of came at it with like, what if you are a brick? Like you actually are a brick. And that was the first kind of question that they tried to answer. And it's not perfect. Also by design, like it doesn't, you try to click it and he stumbles over and you kind of laugh. Or sometimes my daughter like yells at me. She's like, Dad, what are you trying to do? And I'm like, I'm trying to click the brick on. But those are the moments that like, again, what like It Takes Two, like you're collaborating, connecting in the room. So anyway, that ended up being like, hey, I was trying to find sort of like a wild card, and ended up being like this amazing like dive into sort of like the philosophy of building with Lego and how do you translate that to a digital world. So I know I'm like dancing around your question to be like, I'm just looking for stuff that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that then like issue 2 has this Lego jewelry designer. I wouldn't put another jewelry designer in issue 2. Probably won't cover another jewelry designer for a while. Like trying to get a range of the types of things that folks can do. the other thing I'm trying to do in every issue is have a Lego photographer. I think that's such an important and cool part of the community. So in this first issue is Hugh Hughes, who does this amazing Star Wars photography. I had to have Star Wars in the first issue. That was like my little addition. But like, there's a lot of Lego Star Wars photography. And then the second issue is a woman, Anna Batanga. She goes by 4 Bricks Tall. Are you familiar with her? She does a lot of like medieval like scenes and a lot like using light in really interesting ways. And she also started her own company. These are all the things you learn as you start talking to her. So she really into minifigs. I had to ask her the question in the interview. I was like, are you into D&D? Because she's just talking about character creation and like she spends hours thinking about the character. I'm like, you're definitely a D&D person. She was like, absolutely. But anyway, she started her own company making like custom capes and garments for minifigs because she was like, I need that next layer to take my photos to the next level. So cool. I mean, these are the things you learn as you like talk to people. So yeah, I think the curation is part of the fun for me of like, I've got my spreadsheets and I'm like, hey, I'm tracking this store. Anytime I see something, I'm like, hey, maybe there's something there. There's like a sliver. Will that work? There's a guy, what's his name? Jeff. He's gonna kill me. But he's doing these beautiful houses in Salem, Mass. I'm in Boston area, and Salem's like, witch town, but also has these amazing like old buildings. And so he brings us like spooky, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's something there for a future issue. Always just got the eyes open.
Sometimes Wes and I'll talk and we'll say like, hey, do we have an episode here? But I don't know. And then we'll start talking for like 30 minutes and I'll just be like, hey, let's save it. I think we got it.
That is the tough thing for podcasts. Oh, speaking of that, so I have a really good friend, Corey White. He's an amazing artist. So in every issue, we also have like a New Yorker style like comic that has, so it's called The Missing Piece. That's the title.
Awesome.
So really fun, like kind of somewhat like sometimes poking fun at the hobby. I don't like put this out into the world because my wife will probably listen to this, but some of it's based on my life. Like the one for issue 2 as a preview is like, I'm like, pick a brick, right? At the Lego store. I'm really into like, okay, how are you going to get the most into that, little rectangle? And I see videos online on like watching how people are like, just like getting that thing dense. And so my box will be like so perfect. And then you turn to like one of my kids and it is literally mounded, piled. And of course, like I've self-imposed these rules on myself. Like the wonderful people that work at the Lego store have tape and they're like taping my daughter's like pick a brick box shut. And I'm like, the lid must shut. If the lid doesn't shut, you're not doing it right.
I have a lid if it can't shut, right?
Yeah, but meanwhile, my daughter probably has like 3 times the amount of pick a brick that I was able to like fit in my. So anyway, so just fun.
And they're so good at the Lego store too. I don't think I've ever seen them be like.
Never.
Actually, I saw it one time, and I'm pretty sure that's because like the person was stealing stuff. So hey, don't ruin a good thing. But
yeah, come on.
I've really never seen them. Like you said, they'll be like overflowing, and they'll be like,
oh my gosh.
All right, here you go. Here's a piece of tape.
Yeah, here's a tape. Here's a couple. I mean, they literally like taking those stickers and like clamping it. But anyway, so yeah, fun things like that. For Missing Piece as just like a fun kind of like adder at the end. But so you made me think of it because Corey and I will constantly be like talking and we're like, I think we just like did like 5 missing pieces. Like, are you taking notes? Because we need to like, I mean, he has the hard work of actually like drawing them and making them real, but it's just fun to think about.
What I love about that story too is like the implication, right? Because not only is it, an experience we've all had as an AFOL, but what a great way to sort of highlight how we approach the hobby and how like as you age, right? Like we impose these rules on ourselves of like, well, this is the theme that I like, or this is the, the way that the conditions that I need in order to build or whatever. And
these
like
techniques are illegal. It's like,
right. And your kid's
I
just
said
over
that to
here
my kid, and they were like, my kid was like taking the platforms on end, and sticking them between the studs, and you would have thought that they had discovered like plutonium. You know, it was this like massive win because now like they can build these houses without having to like really like stack bricks. And of course, the ants are like under my skin of like, can't stick a platform in between the studs. But yeah, they don't care. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what we're trying to like. What are the things that are just like fun for us? And there's a million. I mean, that's what I love about this too. Is like it is a toy. It's supposed to be fun and joyful. Trying to add like a little bit of. I guess that's like back to the curation. You know, on one side you have like just like the joy and fun and like silliness of like a child's toy. On the other side you have like high art, architecture, like high fashion, very sophisticated. I don't feel like BRICKA can be on either side. It's got to be like right down the middle. And so yeah, missing piece is like trying to like get a little bit of that joy, but then Corey's art is just like so tight and good. Yeah, the first issues missing piece is like the classic text message thread that I would have with my wife. So it's like, what's this $129 charge from? And then we take the Lego out of it. We're like, so what's this $129 charge from Brickmart? And then it's just like the sweat, and it's like, what do you mean? Like, what charge? When was it? And are you sure it was me? Like, didn't you buy some stuff for the kids there? And it's like more rationalized. Like, well, here's my thought. You know, it was on sale. It was retiring soon. It was double points, and I love those points. And then it's like, well, it also fit like perfectly on my third shelf. Like, I have a place for it. Like, I'm thinking through this whole rationalization, and then my wife will just text, okay. You know, like it has not like.
Okay, I was just curious.
She was just wondering. So, but then the real punchline here is that like in the comic, he takes the okay as like validation to then go back, and buy more. So that's like fun. It's like she said okay, not like go like free reign. But yeah, so there's a million things we could do with that. But yeah, so it's a mix. Cool stories, comics, photography.
Is there anything you don't plan on covering? I mean, you never say never, right?
Yeah,
things change, times change, but is there a certain direction you kind of want to steer clear of a little bit?
Yeah, I probably won't do like set reviews or like what's coming. Again, I think that lane is covered really well. I mean,
right,
and I follow it all. But I think I would love to interview Lego designers someday, like that are actually like designing. So like they all have stories as well, of course. Yeah, I think that's probably the only. Keeping it adult, like there's certainly a whole kid angle that I probably won't ever touch. Another fun thing that we did, speaking of just like but we actually have instructions in here. Of like, but can the builds be like a little bit more like sophisticated? So this was like a tree. This was I don't know if you know his name's Chris from Brick Sculpt. He has a YouTube channel. So it's like, how do you even take like the
I know Brick Sculpt? Yeah.
Oh, Brick Sculpt. I could watch that YouTube channel for hours and have. Like I watched him like building like a Lego Rubik's Cube, and I was like, I started like seeing myself in the third person. I was like, I'm in this. I was like, I'm loving this.
It's so bad when you're like, hey, what are we building today? And you sit down and you're like, I mean, what am I watching?
What am I watching?
You build today?
Let me learn from the master. So yeah, I could see going like deeper into that. But yeah, I think mainly probably steering clear of like set reviews or like even like critiquing sets. Like I do put some of that on my BRICKA Instagram. Like I can't help it, or I'll comment. When people are like, oh, this was a really cool set, or I hated this set, or like the Lego clogs, or no, Lego Crocs.
Yep.
I was like, I'm not going to post about them, but I am going to comment and agree with everyone. I just have to. Like, I can't stop myself. But that's not what like the magazine, key thing for BRICKA is like a good news platform. It's all going to be like positive, like human good stories. It never would be like, oh, we don't like this set, or we don't like this thing. Should be inspirational. Should be, like you were saying, should be something I could sit down and just like enjoy.
So are you going to get the Crocs just for the poly bag then? Is that
Oh,
gonna?
God.
Are you going to
Oh,
wrap?
my
Is that a
gosh.
future
Here's
comic
where
strip?
Brian, as a designer, now that's a good missing piece right there. So this would be the missing piece. Actually, we could design it right now. In my designer mind, I was like, this could actually be really cool. Like thinking about like what it could be like, because my kids have them. You can actually add on little pieces. I don't know if you see, people like stick on little plastic bits and bobs
Mhm.
onto their Crocs.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, like what if you actually build on them? And then there's like this whole customization factor. But I was picturing them like as normal shoe size, right? Like, and I was picturing the studs as like normal stud size. And so I'm sort of like rationalizing and thinking like, okay, this could be really cool. And then like as people started like unboxing them, I was like, what is going on?
Oh no.
Oh no. And I think everyone like it's also like good nature. Like if anyone's getting like really fired up about the Lego Crocs, then I think that says more about like sort of like their life situation. I think it's more of like a fun like, hey, what are the possibilities? Like I was even like, oh, could we like 3D print like the design I had in my mind, as like a counterpoint could be kind of cool. But I love seeing people like, take the scaled up minifigs and like add the Crocs on. Like that was super fun. Like in my mind, like in the back of my like rational mind, I'm like, I have a day job at a corporation. So sometimes I like to imagine what the meetings are like at the Lego group when they're like thinking about these. And I really think they were, I please think this is just like a conversation starter and just like generate buzz, like, because it just can't be real.
Somebody got really excited. They found an insight. Maybe they read it wrong, like the it was upside down or something,
Right.
and like Lego Crocs. These are good. This is the #1 most requested shoe crossover, and someone's like, oh, actually, let me fix that, and I like turn it back around.
They were like, oh wait, no, this was actually at the
number
bottom. But could you imagine if you could actually build on them, like deliberately build? My kids would go crazy over them. They'd go crazy. They would literally spend hours making them how they wanted and then wearing them around with pride. So
You
it's
could
like
have a Lego Croc with a Lego Croc on it.
oh my gosh, that'd be so epic. Yeah. But
It's
yeah,
funny too. I mean, Grinch and I are constantly commenting on how we would just love to be in the Lego boardroom as these
it.
decisions are made. And like, I feel like this one had to have been something like, they're sitting there, they're like wrapping up their meeting and they're like, what's the last agenda item? And, Bob's like, well, I wanted to talk about this Lego and Crocs crossover. And they're like, oh yeah, Crocs, like, sounds good. And then
Go
someone
do
like,
it.
yeah, they're like, yeah, okay. And he's like, well, here, let me show you. And then like somebody busts open the door, interrupts the meeting, and everyone's just like, the meeting's
They never
adjourned.
actually got
and,
to see it.
yeah. And then they're like, okay, great. Yeah, Crocs, sounds good. Like, let's press. And they just like never saw the picture.
Yeah. The factory just starts pumping them out. But that's interesting. Like I would love, again, on the good news side and like as a positive, like the business stories that are surrounding. I mean, Oliver's is a business story, just a non-Lego brand, but like this story's probably been told, but I do have this vision of like telling it more holistically of like the Lego F1 partnership and like what and why and how that came to, like I would love to tell that story in like 3,000 words. Like that would just be so, and then like sponsoring the academy, the women's, like there's always like very intentional like moves that are great for the business, great for the hobby, great for kids, great for adults. So those kind of like business stories I think are also like super interesting to me. We just haven't kind of cracked that yet.
Yeah, that is a whole other ballpark. I feel like when the businesses start to get involved, right?
Yeah, it's just so fascinating. Like, I mean, the classic, just like even I just had read the book, like just the Lego story of like bringing it back from the brink, like that stuff I love. Like, it's just all like what were the right decisions, what were the wrong decisions, what resonated with people. Yeah, I think there's something there. The other facet that I'm trying in issue 2, we'll see if it goes, is more like the psychology and like behavioral science around building. So I have a behavioral scientist in issue 2. I'll say he's my wild card. His name's Leidy Klotz, and he wrote this book about subtraction, like actually what it means to take things away to make them better, not just like keep adding. And what caught my attention on it was he actually he had been thinking about that as he's like an engineer and behavioral scientist. So he's like thinking about innovation, and he was kind of circling this idea of like adding is not always the best, but he couldn't crack it. And he was literally playing with his son with Duplo, and they were like building a bridge, and it was like an uneven bridge. And Leidy, the dad, like turned to like go get another like Duplo brick But when he turned around, his son, who I think was like 3 or 4, young, took one of the bricks off
To make it
and
even. Yeah.
to make it even. And it was like in Leidy's like brain that he still carries the Duplo bricks in his backpack.
Oh,
Because then they,
cool.
of course, expanded it to all these actual behavioral science studies and they used Lego in them. And in all these studies, looking at it now, you're like, the most obvious thing would be to like remove these 3 bricks. And no one does it, or very, very few people remove. They always add. Even when they start adding like economics, they basically said like you have to pay per brick that you add, and that will pay you for every brick that you take away. Like they just, our brains aren't built that, like mammals aren't built
Yeah.
that way. But we've built the world. Like the world, we have added a lot of complexity to the world, the physical world, our lives, our digital world. And so his kind of like thesis is now's a good time to like start, trimming, pulling, editing, and subtractions. So anyway, is it art? Is it Lego art? I don't know. Is it science? Yes. Is it culture? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if it resonates.
Well, I mean, oh, Grinch, go ahead.
I've done a lot of negotiation training in my career, and there's a very classic training of you negotiate over $1, and you're pretty much just seeing who can win the dollar in a negotiation. And every time you're bidding each other up, and the whole point of it is not actually that I'm not bidding against you as the other negotiator. We're actually bidding against the person that owns the dollar, which is not who you're negotiating against. But and so I kind of caught on pretty quick. I'm like, I don't want to bid on I'm not going to spend. And the person they come over, they gave me their bid, and it's like $1 million. I'm like, no, he's like, and the guy he's like, what do you mean no? And I'm like, oh, okay,
easy, big fella.
Yeah, $1,001 penny, and like, okay, that's better. And I'm like, okay, and he was, the whole point was he's trying to pressure you to do it, right? And to bid on this dollar because he's the one that's going to get paid.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's just, it's kind of like learning to stick to your conviction and to your point, take away, right? It's not
the same,
all about
like,
it's not all about winning, right?
Right. Leidy has this whole thing around like taking things away is like invisible, like for credit, right? Like in my corporate job, like I do strategy design, like we're trying to like change things. So it's like changing and adding is very visible. Like, look what I did. Hey, everyone, look what I did. When you remove things, if you cancel a project that's not going well, or if you hey, this initiative is these crocs are gonna lose this money. Like you don't usually get credit for stopping something or removing something from the list.
Poor crocs.
I know, poor crocs. So anyway, I love how he applies it not only in like physical world, but then also in like organizations and negotiations. Like it's very fascinating to see.
It's also, I mean, to that point specifically, right? It's like something you can't prove because you've taken it away. And so all you can prove is like, see, doesn't it feel nice when we don't have to worry about that anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you can't prove like, because we've stopped this, that like we've, necessarily avoided a bad outcome because and sometimes it's just hard to tell. But one of the things that struck me when you were describing that about that idea of taking things away is the connection between maybe the fact that Lego is from a company based in Denmark, right? And the Scandinavian culture and design sort of ethos is not exclusively minimalism, but does revolve strongly around sort of this minimalistic architecture and design focus that is really about either connecting you with something like nature, connecting you with like your environment or whatever it is you're trying to do. And so minimalism is kind of both baked into Lego itself, but also just sort of that cultural heritage that Lego has. So
yeah, I think about that like as a designer, right? Like in a product design or even in a strategy design, it's like what's the least complex thing I can do to solve this problem, right? Like strip out anything that is unnecessary to create the thing, right, that people want. And so that even like, I put it in the magazine too, because even people thinking about like their mocks or their art, like editing, removing, and like how can I convey this with like the most, now there's a whole lot maximalist, like that's all good too. Like I love some of like the crazy mosaics I see. Like I love them so much. But yeah, I think there's something about sort of like like you said, minimalist. Certainly like just the overall ethos. I mean, as an industrial designer, I studied, Danish designers and architects. Like there's definitely a heritage there that makes sense for the brand, for especially for how long it's got. And I think how it shows up like in our modern world, right? There's a reason like adults love this system. I think both like certainly like the building creation, but I think also just like the sense of focus and like it's ends up being like a form of self-care. I have another designer in issue 2. Her name's Sarita Gates. A lot of the stories so far have been, hey, I played with Legos as a kid and I had my dark age, but I came back. She didn't start playing with Legos until she was an adult. Like she found it as a form of self-care and saw like a Lego set at a Barnes and Noble and was like, huh, I could really like use a chill tonight. And so she like bought it and she like poured a glass of wine and like just sat down and just like got into it. And then what unlocked for her was using it to tell stories of the past. And like she's an archivist, she's a historian, like using it to capture memories in like mocks, and she actually generates sets that they sell. But each set has like a memory or a meaning. But she did this whole thing with Jimi Hendrix estate. It's like a little, I think it's called Mini Jimmy. And it's like, it's a set as you could build Jimi Hendrix. It's like also this like commemoration of like his story, his history. Like the box has his art, printed on it. And it's just this whole like, it's actually, it's in museum stores. It's so cool. And all that from like discovering Lego at a Barnes and Noble as like a full grown adult. And actually, I think honestly having like I think there's about a courage and also like just your openness to joy as an adult to like be like, you know what, I'm going to get that set. I'm going to do that. I see more and more people doing it. Like, oh yeah, I bought this for myself. I talked to a retired general and he was like, yeah, I got into this to relax. And now my wife and I, like, we do it together. It's like our activity. And he kind of zoomed his, like, he has sets. It's like how they decorate their house. He had florals. I was like, you're awesome, man. Also, thank you for your service. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's just, there's no limit, I feel like I talked to this gentleman, he's a fellow designer. Like he really got into it because like no other art was like exact enough for him. He was like, I'm not gonna like sit down and paint with like wet, uncontrollable media. Like my wife's a ceramic artist. I can't even watch, right? She's on the wheel. Like there's too many variables to control. But this gentleman was saying like, take a brick, it goes exactly where I want it to go. I know it's going to go there and I'm happy when it's there. And I'm like, trust me, I get it. Like that's a good feeling.
And that's
so
so
yeah, there's
funny
always
too.
like different parts of it.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because like inherently he has zero control over it to some extent anyways, right? Because like you don't pick the colors, you don't pick the pieces and the style. And like how many times have you been building and you're like, man, if only I had this piece that doesn't exist, right? Like, so ironically, like Lego in itself is still a supremely uncontrolled medium to some extent from like the building perspective.
Definitely. Based on what you have. And that was Echo's thing too. Like he finds, because of the constraint of not only like the whole system, even if he has every piece in the world like in front of him, he still has that constraint, right? Of like, I didn't control like which ones of these were made. But oftentimes he finds like, oh, I don't have enough of X. So that kind of gets his innovation mind going of like, well, I still have a vision. I still need to solve it. How am I going to do that? Like that is so cool.
So it's 2025. You're full swing to Lego, doing the whole family thing. Why a magazine?
Yeah. Well, I would say, so we already talked about, I love slow media, I love books, love magazines. I ran a magazine in my former job. I ran my own business. I ran a design museum here in Boston where we did like exhibits, events, like teaching people about design. And we had a quarterly magazine. I loved it. And so I also had a podcast. I was like missing, I think, that in my life in terms of like talking to, it was also my way to like engage with the world. I also, it's a solid also business opportunity. life's too short. I don't have time to just like dabble. I got hobbies. I do woodworking. I do Lego. Like, love to draw. But like, if I'm gonna go on something, like, could it be a sustainable business? Is there something here? But really, it's the classic. Like, I was on vacation, so I have a day job. Work for a financial services company. I have all my best ideas when I'm on vacation, right? The brain just opens
Yep.
up, you know? And so we were on vacation, North Shore of Boston, Gloucester, like the North Shore beaches. And we had stopped at it's called Boston Brick. It's like a third party reseller.
I
Pick a brick.
purchased from them on BrickLink before.
Love them so much. We also have New England Brick in town. We have bricks and minifigs. Love them all. Anyway, I was in there again, like thinking about how much I love Lego. The kids are into it. I'm like, okay, what set am I getting? And I think it's also swirling in my mind all like the folks I was following on Instagram. Anyway, this gentleman comes in with a printed out like spreadsheet basically, and just sits down at the pick a brick table and just starts finding the pieces he needs for probably some mock he's doing. Okay, then another gentleman comes in and he's like straight to the minifig, like make your own minifig custom area. And I was just like looking at these guys and I'm like, who's telling like the story? Like, what would these guys read? Like, what is like the thing that like the media that they're going to consume? And then of course I was like, wait, I'm here. Right? Like, I'm an adult in this place.
I'm one of those guys too.
I'm literally one of these guys. And so I was just thinking, like, what would I want? Like, what do I want? Stories do I want to tell? And literally it was on that trip. Like, I didn't even have my laptop. I had my phone. But I was making mock-ups. I actually have the mock-up of it looks very similar to the first issue. And I was like mocking up covers. That's kind of like how I'm a business designer now, is what I call myself. Like, I design businesses. I just do it inside a financial services company. So like to design my business, it's like you have to start to make it real, you know? So I started like just on my phone doing like these renderings of like what a adult Lego magazine could be. And I was showing it to my wife and she was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, does that exist? I was like, I don't think it exists. And anyway, I think there's also this like, so there's the whole movement we've been talking about. AFOLs, Lego for Adults, Adults Welcome. There's also a whole movement back to print publishing, and you know, very niche, very focused. But I'll say, even on that vacation, like I read a news story about The Onion, which I love, and that The Onion was going back into print because they saw, and I'm like, you just start to see these signals, and if you're lucky enough, they start to like connect at like the right moments. That I was like, okay, print's coming back. A group of my friends had recently bought Print magazine, the magazine about print design, and they're like rejuvenating it. And I was like, they're doing that. Onion's doing that. There's this huge market for adult, fans of Lego. There's not like really do the quick competitive analysis, like our magazines that are great at doing sets, like, and then I finally got home from that vacation and I wrote like, I don't want to call it like my manifesto, but I wrote like, here's what I think this thing should be. And that formed the basis for those conversations that I started having and kind of showing people, like I showed them the renderings of what it could look like, and kind of gave them a little sense. And yeah. And then you more signals, right? And then all of a sudden the signals start signaling so loud that you can't ignore them. And so, the biggest, most important signal, though, for all the husbands out there or partners, was my wife. Like, I kept talking to her about it, and she's an entrepreneur as well. She she makes tableware. She was into it, and I was like, she knows I have no time, right? Like, I'm a father of 4. I have a day job. I have a bunch of hobbies I love to do. Have family, have friends. Like, she will tell you, like, I have no time. But the fact that she was like, I really, and she's not a huge Lego fan. She's of the 6 of us, she's on the bottom of the list in terms of like fandom. But she was like, Sam, I think there's something here for you to pursue. And I was like, well, that's, check. And yeah. And then print. So we do have, like I said, you can go online and read it. As either the free preview or subscribers can read. We have an app For iOS, we're about to launch the Android app where you can read it on your phone, tablet. Also, you can listen to the articles. That was very important to me. So, yeah, you can actually do like audiobook style on that. But we are print first. So the print issue comes out first. Like print subscribers get their magazine first. That's the flagship, and really like the artifact.
I can tell you have a passion or history in entrepreneurship too, because I think what I heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, is that it's really important to know what you want to do, right? Because you have to have that overall mission, value statement, right? Purpose and goal, so that you can choose the right vehicle to reach that goal, right? A TikTok channel probably wouldn't suffice for what you're trying to do, right? The stories you're trying to sell. You're trying to get beyond the picture. So an Instagram post is, like we talked about, a picture's worth 180 characters, right?
Yeah,
it's not
great for what it is.
Suffice for what you need it to do. And so it's really important to be kind of self-aware with these things, right? West and I, we don't do Lego reviews because I don't think anybody wants to hear me poorly describe, well, it's got a 1x1 bracket with the hinge plate
Some of these
attached
guys
to
are
it.
so good at it. I mean, I'm like, yeah, keep going. Like, they are incredible. But yeah, I feel you. It's like, what's the focus? What's the gap, right, that you see in the marketplace? That also is, I'll say it, if I wasn't the creator of this, like my story might actually be in a magazine like this, right? To get very meta, it's like, it's the gap in the marketplace, but also like the gap in my life of like wanting to write, wanting to connect with like-minded people. And so when those like signals and gaps, like, I don't know, it's this like amazing mix. But something I learned as an entrepreneur. So I started this design museum in 2009, grew it from literally nothing in my living room to multi-million-dollar nonprofit. It still exists. Great. What I didn't do, what I did back then was just everything. It's like, you heard me. I was like, we are going to be a museum, and we were tiny. We started tiny. I mean, it was like 4 of us. We are going to have a website. We're going to do exhibits out in the world. We're going to do events. We're going to have a podcast. Did I mention a magazine? We're going to publish a couple books. And it actually makes me dizzy to think about, like, and hey, it was a strategy that I will say did work, because there's a lot of random museums, a lot of museums in Boston, and we got a lot of attention. Like, it was like hockey stick, like attention, members, sponsors, grants that we never could have gotten if we were like, we're just going to focus and we're only going to do exhibitions. However, that was really hard. And I'll say I'm purposely trying with BRICKA to just stay focused and like just create a really high quality product that people enjoy, that's consistent. It's like I said, it's always gonna be different. Some articles are gonna resonate more with others, but hopefully that, there's a good mix, and just like do that. Not to say like won't do any, but my brain fire, the neurons are like, what if I did exhibitions of the Lego art that's in the magazine? And it's like, I could do that, but then my eye would be off the ball of, said print publication. So, all things at the right time. But I will say I'm enjoying this like focus moment of like just making a really sweet, really good. I mean, I love that. I'm so proud of the first issue. And then like, it's a classic, like sophomore album. Like, can I pull it off again? And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I pulled it off again. I'm like really proud of it. Again, humbly telling the stories of these amazing artists. And then even like issue 3, I'm like, man, if I can get like this slate of artists and designers in issue 3, it would be like, I guess maybe one other thing too is like, in the past, I always try to like one up myself. Like, the next exhibition is going to be even bigger. It's going to be at the airport, and we're going to take over the whole terminal. Again, I have that in my mind, but I'm like, I see BRICKA as like a long-term, like a consistent quality. Like, if I start trying to one up every issue, I just start making it impossible for me to ever like actually like outdo myself. And again, I truly do want to get other voices in it as well. I cannot just be like me as a single author. There's other perspectives, other ideas. And so actually I think with issue 3, I'll have some other authors, which would be really nice.
So what does that kind of North Star look like for you then, right? What does success, or how would you define that for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's really becoming sort of like a touchstone part of the community. I mean, again, as I said in the beginning, like the response has been so incredible, which I would expect. The Lego community, so wonderful. I would hope so, right? This is about joy. It's about creativity. So you would hate for it to be on the other side, but just the people's response has just been like, oh, I really love this. So I want to make good on that sort of like promise of like, hey, I've subscribed, it's a year-long subscription, and hopefully people are just like renewing. I just like always want to like live up to that, live up to the people who I'm telling their story or we're featuring. But yeah, who knows where it could go? I mean, my brain like can't help but like go like brand extensions. Like it's just how I'm wired. I was toying with like, would there ever be BRICKA sets? Like, would a set come with an issue, like a small set? Like, that'd be kind of cool? Like, if one of the artists like did something in their style, but like unique and small, small enough that it could either be like an add-on, like that could be really fun. I love events. Like, there's a whole lane of amazing Lego conventions, but then I'm like, oh, what's the BRICKA version of like a Lego event? Like, is it smaller? Is it more sort of like intimate? I don't know. So that's where it's like,
Cigars, caviar,
exactly.
and
Hey, who
champagne.
doesn't
I
love
mean,
it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Raymond, who's in the first issue, like has this event series he's planning. What's he call it? Bubbles and Bricks or something like that, where it's like
Nice.
champagne and like adults like building in a gallery. I mean, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I mean, Raymond is now my bud, and he's also, the world is amazing. I found him a while back. Like, he's pen and brick on Instagram, and even before I had the magazine idea. And so had the idea for the magazine, and I was like, well, I'm definitely getting pen and brick in the first issue. I have to. So he's on the top of the list. I start posting about BRICKA and just sort of like generally like, hey, this is a thing I'm doing. Raymond reaches out to me and is like, hey, I'm a Lego artist, but my background is in magazine publishing. Like, do you want to talk? And I was like, no, you don't get to, like, I'm going to reach out to you. But anyway, we've like definitely formed a friendship. And I just think the universe, when you put these good vibes out, you get good vibes back. And I just feel like that, like the universe brought me and Raymond together to like nerd out on Lego and magazines. And I call him, he's one of my advisors. Him and Kelly Bartlett and my friend Corey, I feel like I like my little group of advisors who I can like share crazy ideas with. And, entrepreneurship is known as like one of the loneliest things you can do. And so I always telling like entrepreneurs, folks, that like any venture, I mean, you guys are lucky, right? It's like, do it with people you care about and that you like to be around. I get the added benefit, as I'm sure you do too, like talking about ideas of like, I might say a crazy idea to Raymond, and he might be like, "Oh, that's cool, but there's this," and he kind of checks me. Any crazy idea to tell my friend Corey, like he takes it to the next level. I'm like, okay, easy. Like he envisions like there's going to be BRICKA sets, they're going to be in stores. I'm like, let's just pull it way back, my friend. What if like a small set came with the magazine? He's like, you could do that, like if you want to do it bad. I'm like, okay. Yeah. He's definitely like like he's my hype man, and also like is trying to push me to like a very like near
you could have
death.
Morgan Freeman narrate one of your audio articles. Yeah, I mean,
the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, in one breath, I'm like, want focus in the now, but I'm also like, hey, where could this go? And one thing that's new but very related is getting into retail. So that's been a really fun. I was since August. I'm like subscriptions, like just getting it into the community, and now it's being sold at the Museum of Design in Atlanta, which was like it's not even a Lego store.
Cool.
That's just like a design store that saw it and they were like, "This is really cool." It's going to be at Bricks and Minifigs here in Boston area, and more. Like I see there was an adult education organization in like Saskatchewan that reached out, and they were like, we do this. They made sure to tell me it's dry. I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's just like dry adult like events, and they want to do stuff around Lego, and they saw BRICKA and they were like, this is such a perfect like connection. It was like their event like embodied in these pages, and they were like, what do you think about us like like selling the magazine to people who are coming. I'm like, yes, like that's so perfect. So retail's really interesting. That could go like into places where I'm like, hey, could it be in a Barnes and Noble someday? Like that would be really neat. So yeah, who knows? I'm like, my mind is focused, but like the radar dish for the signals is just always like beep, beep, to see where it can go.
I've got one more question for you. Just a little fun one we can end on here. And I'm gonna change it up on the fly here. I was gonna ask you if you could build any theme, what would it be? But I get the feeling you're a set man. So if you could build any set, no budget, no constraints, maybe it's the first one that ever came out with BRICKA and it's on the International Space Station and it's a replica. I mean, go wild. What would it be?
I'm just gonna like just show my like nerd. So I love movies. I mean, like my favorite movie is The Fifth Element. So I could go that way. It could be like, what if you could build like the whole entire like Fifth Element city? I saw someone did like the cab on Lego Ideas. Like I am all in on that cab making it. But I will say, just maybe it's because it's most recent. I love Pacific Rim. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I love that movie so much. I would love like a UCS, like Hulkbuster size or bigger of Gypsy Danger. That would be a dream. I just feel like I've seen that movie so many times. And also like I will just watch. I was just talking to Corey about this the other night. I was like, I will literally turn on from like when Gypsy Danger's like dropped in that like penultimate fight, like where that fights the double event. I will watch from there to like when it lands in the stadium. Just, you know what? I'm bored. I'm just going to watch like that series of scenes. So I love that movie. It's to me, it's like just such a perfect little movie. So yeah, give me Gypsy Danger, UCS.
What's your opinion on the second movie?
We don't talk about the second movie.
Okay. I was just had to ask. Sorry.
No,
sorry. What movie?
It was like a fever dream that made like, we can explain it away and something. I would love like a prequel. We were talking about that the other day. Like a prequel would be so sick. And then we could reboot. Like there's a lot we could. We were going so deep on Pacific Rim. It's the winner of Pacific Rim is the physics that they display at that scale, which the second movie did not have. Second movie, they're moving around like they're Transformers. It's like it's too goofy. And
the suit
Pacific
feels
Rim,
heavy in the first one.
it feels like gravity is pulling it. It is gravity has it. Same with the kaiju too. So that would be cool. All right, Gypsy and
I was gonna say
kaiju.
some
sort of
Yeah,
kaiju,
that would be okay. And I'm gonna amend it one more time. You know what I would really love is another scene that I watch all the time is like Veronica in Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron. So like Hulk's going crazy, calls in Veronica, Hulkbuster builds. Like from that point to the whole Hulk fight, I want the Hulk at the scale of the Hulkbuster. And I'm like, I'll tell you, I'm like this close to just doing it myself. It's like Thanos. It's like, okay, I'll do it myself. It's like,
there you go.
No one's stopping me. And I saw that they released because my kids know this, that I want that. And they released the little Hulkbuster and Hulk fight. And they're like, Daddy, there it is. And I'm like, you don't understand. I want that bigger. Yeah. Maybe we'll get there.
You obviously know Lego Masters if you've interviewed, Kelly Bartlett. But in Australia, season 4, there was 2 builders, Joss and Joss. I forget the other guy's name. They were brothers, but his like specialty was kaiju's. And I'll follow up. I'll send you a message on Instagram of their work. You just enjoy it. He's got his own kind of style. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in issue 4 of BRICKA magazine after you check out his work. So
that's like my dream is like using this room. So this is my room. This is my office. I can do whatever I want in here. Would be to like I bought, that's too far to reach, but I got like one of the F-22s. I think the like Rayo Bricks or someone did. I want to get another, like, so the scene in the original Iron Man, where like the F-22s are like chasing them down. Like I just want to
Mhm.
make that in here. Like the other idea I was talking about was like, so I got like pretty high ceiling in here. I could do like the entire like Death Star trench run at like UCS
Ooh.
scale, like build the trench. And that's when my wife usually tells me that I have too many ideas. But you know what? I'd rather have too many, and
They don't
execute a
scare you.
handful. Right. Yeah, don't limit me. No, she doesn't. She supports, as I said, she supports my crazy hobbies and creativity. But yeah, maybe it's my general answer would be like awesome like movie scenes that I just like love and want to remember. I would build those out.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Congratulations on the new venture, the wonderful the first edition of BRICKA magazine, and hopefully many, many more issues to come.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was fun.
Brick Mail.
All right. So thank you again for Sam for joining us today on this episode and talking all about your new venture in BRICKA magazine. We enjoyed having you on. Lots of great Lego stories, including this one right here. So thanks for joining us, and good luck with your future Lego magazine. All right, so up first for Brick Mail, we've got one from Milo that writes, "Hey Grinch and West, I absolutely love the pod and listen to it every week. I'm just starting to get into Lord of the Rings, and I really enjoyed your mocks, Grinch. It actually inspired me to make mocks of my own. I just posted my first Rebrickable mock today. It's still in review phase. I was hoping for you to talk about collecting Ninjago. This is my big passion. I was wondering if you shared it. Thanks for all you do. Love y'all, Milo." Well, thank you, Milo, for
Yeah, thank you.
writing in, and glad that you've dabbled into the world of mock building. It's a whole other world, and we will get to Ninjago. Don't collect a ton of it, but definitely collect it and respect it, and we'll get to an episode.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into Ninjago and talk about some of the themes. And I mean, what a great Lego theme that's been around for so long. That's just so unique in that it's rare for us, other than something like City, to see a sort of domestically or indigenous Lego theme, right? Something created internally from Lego. It's probably the better way to say it. To see a theme like that carry on for so long, I think is just really fun. And I think we'll have a lot of fun kind of talking through some of the different eras, the TV show and everything. Ninjago's just got so much to it. I imagine that'll probably be an episode that we'll have to split up into many different sort of parts. I'm sure we could spend, a good episode on its own talking about like the city builds themselves before we even get into kind of some of the other areas that Ninjago covers. So Milo, we're definitely that one's on the radar, and we'll be chatting about that soon.
Yeah, I think one we want to approach with some respect and correctly, and yeah.
Definitely. Well, Ethan writes in and says, "Hey guys, I wanted to get back in touch with you to provide an update on my city and share a few photos with you. As a LEGO Group employee, my professional and personal opinions regarding the Smart Brick differ. While I think it's cool, I believe it will primarily be accessible to wealthier children rather than those who can afford standard set prices. Though ironically, there doesn't seem to be a normal set price anymore. I will be sure to provide more feedback once I have some hands-on experience with it. On another note, the large Pokemon set is awesome. The ability to pose the tail, neck, and wings is great, and the fact that you can take them apart for different displays is a nice touch. Regarding the design of my setup mentioned in my previous email, I've had to change the layout of the city due to space constraints, but I've managed to make it work. Of course, like any LEGO project, it will never be fully finished. If it's all right with you, I'd love to stay in touch and continue sending updates on the city's progress. Keep up the good work. I always look forward to the next episode of AFOLs Welcome." Well, Ethan, thank you for reaching out again. Thank you for sharing your opinions. I don't think we were aware that you were affiliated with the LEGO Group, so interesting to kind of hear some insider takes on that. But I suppose ultimately not a surprise because, I mean, I think they're fair points, right? And they're points that we've brought up, and points that maybe we don't get seen from certain areas of the Lego community. But you know, we try to be honest and give real takes here on AFOLs Welcome. So, and as for the city, you know, constraint, as they say, is the mother of invention, right? So I believe that's the saying. Maybe I'll have another correction next episode, Grinch.
You're on your own on that one.
But I actually think that is where, like, city building, for example, gets really interesting, and that is where we see people do kind of really interesting things. And if you think about like the model railroad hobby, for example, you see layouts really kind of driving the way, like the table space and stuff driving the way the layout actually ultimately goes. So now that you've kind of settled on how you want to set it up, it'll be really fun to watch it grow. So thank you for writing in, Ethan.
Yeah, I was looking at the photos, and we've got a Marvel fan, and so Ethan's got a really cool setup of some Marvel sets, and then it looks like some other additions throughout of kind of a downtown Marvel metropolis type of thing. You know, definitely probably New York, but there's some CMFs in there too. So there's all sorts of fun stuff and scenes set up. So good job with that, Ethan. Keep up the good work. All right, and then last we actually have a YouTube comment from our couple videos ago, where we went into the Lego ideas review stage and talked about all the different ideas. And I actually said, you know, West, I wasn't sure how a submission got through because it was Ninjago, and I was like, wait a second, I thought you couldn't. So, anyways, the I'm just gonna say the name or spell the name because I don't want to get it wrong. But Adir 9234 commented the timestamp, so 3509. A set designer here, they actually did accept the Ninjago theme up until a couple of weeks after that submission reached 10K. So I get corrected twice today. This is a noteworthy day. Flags are going to be at half mast tomorrow because of this. But no, thank you for correcting the record. I actually didn't know that, so I learned something new today, which is always a treat. And it looks like they maybe don't accept it anymore. It's kind of interesting. I feel like, why haven't we seen more Ninjago before then, right?
Yeah. You know, Grinch, I mean, maybe we didn't see it because people just never submitted it because they also thought that was the case. And I also think we'll want to appreciate that that you wrote into us to sort of share your take on that, because that's fascinating and does sort of lend more mystery to the Lego ideas selection process than it does clarity, I suppose. And so I wonder if that was almost like, you know, a case where Lego's like, oops, that got in, you know, now we need to, you know, tighten up some bolts here and there. So anyways, yeah, that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I had read that like Ninjago's its own license now, technically. Like, it's a licensed IP. So technically it's not a unlicensed Lego theme. And I wonder if it was just on these list of license and maybe nobody submitted it, and then one got through, and then, you know, the auto check allowed it through because there was nobody, you know, no human there checking it, right? To be like, wait a second, is that correct? I don't know. It's interesting because I mean, we've been doing these review stages for the past 2 years now, right? And we haven't. That was the first Ninjago one that we saw. So
yeah,
interesting. And that is a wrap of another episode of AFOLs Welcome. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to the show. If you would like to write the podcast, please email us at afolswelcome@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at AFOLsWelcome. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
See ya.